Alright, hey, hi, net everybody, this is Pika here, and I'm here to present to you Katawa Shoujo Part 14. Alright, still a little bit sick, but it's like, but the thing is, like, my sickness is like, it's not really crippling me, but it's like, it makes me feel like shit. Anyway, I got another Shimeji. It's Mary this time. Look at her, isn't she adorable? So you're gonna be seeing her walk around. Alright, so where we were last time is that basically, basically my throat is a little bit sore, and basically, if the voices sound a little bit weird this time around, it's probably because my throat is sore as fuck, and I just can't. Alright. I can immediately tell from the envelope that it's not about official matters of any sort. Someone actually wrote me an old-fashioned handwritten paper letter. Who bothers doing something like that in this day and age anyway? Yet, as unlikely as the prospect of receiving one sounds, there is definitely a letter lying on my desk. The classes for the day are over. Still feeling pretty full from the big lunch that I had unexpectedly eaten at the cafeteria, I returned to my dorm, planning on finishing my homework and probably skipping dinner. Or at least just eating light. Thank you, Mary. I feel like I need to eat less than I used to. Maybe I don't use that much energy now that I don't do much beyond reading. However, the letter on my desk has naturally caught my interest. It's the first piece of mail I've received here at Yamaku, so it feels special even if it wasn't something as rare as a handwritten letter. What causes me even more trepidation is the name of the sender, written neatly on the back of the envelope. Iwanako. I have no idea why she would write to me. I haven't been in contact with anyone from my old school since I transferred, and Iwanako is the last person I expect to want to write me a letter. God! The nasalness is... It's killing me. The last time I saw Iwanako was terribly awkward, embarrassingly so. She came to my hospital room, peeled me an apple out of courtesy, and then we practically sat in silence for half an hour. She said goodbye and didn't look me in the eye when she closed the door. It might have been a natural end to the series of visits that were probably pretty painful for both of us. Every time she visited me in the hospital, I wanted to talk to her, but something stopped me every time. God damn it! Every time they didn't speak made the next time even harder. Iwanako always had this aura of fragility around her, as if she'd shatter into pieces at the slightest disturbance. Initially I thought it might have been that delicacy that attracted me to her, but after what happened back then, it felt as if she really had shattered. She looked so sad that I didn't want to say anything that might upset her, and I never could figure out the right words to say. God! It's like, there should be nothing in my throat, yet it's constantly fucking my voice up for Sal. I told her that it wasn't her fault. She nodded, and I really think she understood that if it hadn't been that, then sooner or later something else would have made my heart give out. Yet she looked so hopelessly sad every time she opened that door and entered my room. So I never managed to say the things I wanted to say. In the end, that might have hurt her even more. Carefully, I opened the envelope and draw out the folded letter from within.
Dear Sal, how are you? I hope you are well and happy at your new school. Everyone here misses you. Almost all of our second-year class got put together in Class 3-1 for the final year, so we are pretty comfortable right from the beginning of the year. I'm sure you would have been assigned to this class as well. The mood among the third year seems to be very anxious about the final exams, even though they're so far away. The teachers are badgering us about it all the time, even old Mr. Tachibana, who is, by the way, our homeroom teacher this year. Would you believe it? I was sure that he'd retire after a second year, but here he is, nagging everyone about studying for exams. I think things like that are the main reason why the mood among third years is so nervous. I must admit that I'm somehow losing confidence in myself as well, even though I've always fared reasonably well in exams. It's so weird to think we're already seniors, isn't it? Time has really flown past. I wonder where it went. The new first year seems so young and somehow really innocent. I keep wondering if I was like them in my first year. I've been feeling nostalgic like this for the whole first trimester. There are other things I want to say. I'm writing to you because I felt that there were things I should have said after the incident back in winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to say them in person. I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you at the hospital made me worried about you. I'm not talking about your health. You seem to become more distant and disheartened. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure, but somehow I got the feeling that you'd given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe?
God, I'm about to punch myself in the throat!
I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I'm really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most, even though I liked you so much. At least now, finally, I can be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you to not give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. I hope you managed to get back on your feet on your own. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it also feels more final somehow. I wonder if we'll meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means, write me back. I'd very much like to hear about your new school and how you're doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Iwanako.
After finishing reading the letter, I folded it like it was and placed it on my desk. I don't know what to think of this. I feel empty and confused. Why now after all this time? Just yesterday, I decided that I can't let myself stay like this, that I try to get on top of my own life. Reading this letter just reminds me of what could have been. Of course I wished I didn't have to be here. I'd want to be in the same class with Iwanako again. Maybe we would talk every day now and go on dates. My life didn't go like that. Okay, let me take a drink, 'cause this is pissing me off. But still, I'm about to punch myself in the throat because it's like, I can't get Hisao's voice right, and it's so natural. I didn't really need to be reminded of this. Iwanako needed to write this letter for her own sake, and I'm glad for her that she could, but it would have been better if I hadn't read it. Of course she is right. I thought of the same thing yesterday. I had fallen into a pit of depression, and now have to try to climb out. I rip out a page from my notebook, and after a moment of thinking how to frame my words, write a short reply to Iwanako. I find it difficult to be really honest to her, but at least I try to appear somewhat convincing. I don't write her about Yamako at all. I doubt she will write me again, but I don't feel at all sad about it. I fold my own letter to her, and as I have no envelope, set it next to Iwanako's. I mail it to her later. Then I lie back on my bed, looking at the monotone gray ceiling. A bird sings outside of my window, and a sudden gust of wind flutters my curtains. The summer afternoon feels still, as if time had stopped for a brief moment. I think about I think about all the things I've lost and will never regain. I know. Katawa Shoujo, Katawa Shoujo, Katawa Shoujo. I know it's probably a bad idea to be doing this when it's like is going on, but it's like if I'm feeling up, if I feel like I can still talk, but it's like if I feel like I can still talk and can see, I'm doing videos no matter what. Anyway, thus the languid days of mid-June passed by. I mailed my letter to Iwanako and received no reply. Having decided to ditch the old me, I started observing my fellow students even closer than I did before, hoping to understand how other people cope with their own issues. I'm about to punch myself in the throat, people! I started seeing things I didn't before, and it makes me wonder if I've been wrong twice. Superficially, everyone is abnormal, yet so strikingly normal that shocked me at first. I admire the way my new schoolmates turn my prejudice around just like that, simply by being themselves.
Now that I've gotten used to it, I began noticing other kinds of tones in the people surrounding me every day. There's this soft, numb sadness all around me. I could see the effort everyone has to make just to get through the day and how it weighs on their shoulders like it weighs on mine. Even the brightest smile is just slightly subdued, every outburst of annoyance just slightly dampened. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. I try to think what it means, what I can learn from others. I wonder if deep down everyone is as lost as I am. Is there even one person in here who has truly found peace? I start to feel doubtful about myself once again. I can't decide whether these people are happy, unhappy, or if they've just learned to cope and now live in an unfeeling limbo like I did all spring. I escaped from these feelings into the towering piles of books I carried in my room from Yuko's sanctuary. After realizing that this would just shut me down even more, I start going to the art club's room more often, usually whenever I can. Rin too seems to spend more time in there than in her own classroom. I've often seen her totter towards the door at the very end of our corridor. That wooden door in the room behind it, smelling of paint and paper, seems to mean more to her than the rest of the world combined. She says she has special permission to use the room, which I don't doubt at all. I don't think Nomiya would deny Rin anything. He seems to dote on her like an uncle upon a favorite niece. The object of his affection, however, has no favorites. She says she appreciates the teacher a lot for going the extra mile for her sake, but even when she says that, her expression is the same as always. It's as if she was talking about a particularly unremarkable rock that she saw the other day. I can't really figure out their relationship. Rin doesn't seem to let anyone close. I don't think even Emmy could say she's crossed the gap that seems to separate Rin from the rest of the world. I don't understand it. She seems so indifferent yet so passionate at the same time. Somewhere the school bells ring the last call of the day. I realize I've been zoning out for who knows how long. Dazed to sit up straighter, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. The pungent smells of linseed oil and turpentine mix in my nostrils as I draw a deep breath. I feel drowsy and lightheaded. It's already this late and the few club members left early, so it's just me, Rin, the teacher, and 2 other girls who are also about to leave. Rin is sitting to my right, slowly working on a painting while I'm idling the time away. I don't think she realizes I've been watching her this whole time. With a nimble movement of her delicate ankle, she dips the brush into crimson paint and presses it lightly onto the canvas. A stain spreads around as if the brush was bleeding. Her progress is slowed down to a crawl. By now I've learned that this is dangerous for her technique, as the paint must not be allowed to dry before she's finished. It occurs to me that I am literally watching paint dry, and yet somehow I'm not feeling bored, despite spacing out just now. Most of the time, the art club is very relaxed and freeform. Apart from times when Nomiya gets really excited about some technique or style he wants to teach us about, everyone is free to pursue their own interest. Lacking one, I keep floating around without a direction. I try this and that, but nothing really leaves me with a deeper impression. Not to mention that I don't seem to have a special knack for anything. Well, I did get praise for my attempt at watercolors, and I felt pretty good about that myself, but that's it. I suppose it's to be expected. I joined the art club mostly on a whim after all. I'm thinking that maybe I should quit the club, if it's going to be this pointless. But there's nothing really wrong with pointlessness, and I can't exactly say I'm unhappy. Unsatisfied maybe, but I've got only myself to blame for that. As the pair of girls exit the clubroom with a cheerful bye-bye, Nomiya stands up from his desk. His chair scoots back with a loud screech that breaks the harmony of this quiet afternoon. This is gonna suck, if I have to do his voice. He taps a pile of papers in his hands twice against the tabletop in order to straighten them, then stretches his back.
I have a faculty meeting to attend, so I can't stay. I'll have to do some paperwork later, so if you want to stay, we can talk then. Sorry about this.
There are 2 people here, but he's really talking to only one of us. Nomiya spends extra hours of his time mentoring Rin after official club hours are over, and I'll bet he'd like to discuss his plan of getting Rin's art into a gallery a little more.
It's alright, I think...
Oh my god, did you hear that? Did you hear that voice? Oh my god. It's like, that was an awesome attempt at Rin, but oh my god.
It's alright. I think I'll probably be here, but it's not a big deal if I'm not. I don't really have much going right now.
Rin answers without moving her eyes from her work in progress. The tone of her voice is neither the polite kind expected when talking to a teacher, nor her usual monotone.
So I won't need to send a search party if you aren't here? Yes, no thanks, I don't like the party. We can talk later. Good girl.
Smiling, the teacher picks up the rest of his papers and makes his way to the door. I glance at the clock above and then at my watch to double check. They're 3 minutes apart, but nevertheless the club's meeting time is over now. Rin seems intent on staying here to work on her piece while waiting for the teacher. I can't quite imagine what their one-on-one time would be like. Will they actually discuss anything? Rin is always so subdued in what she says, and when she does say something, it's difficult to understand what she's talking about. Maybe Nomiya just talks endlessly like he does at Clem meetings, letting Rin absorb what she will from his infinite well of art knowledge, like a sunflower turning to face the glowing sun. Do you mind if I stay? I thought maybe I'd give watercolors another try. I blurt out the excuse sort of accidentally, embarrassing myself. Rin doesn't take her eyes off her painting.
Okay.
I shift around in my chair, then get to fetching a cup of water, brushes, colors, and some paper. The sound of my footsteps invades the still afternoon air. He's just moving around like it's nobody's business. Before starting, I try to recall what the teacher told us, an important philosophy of the medium. Working with watercolors means more working with water than working with color. I try to keep that in mind and dip my tiny staple brush into the water cup. I'm mixing yellow and blue, trying to capture the sunlit treetops outside of the window. The sun is low, so the yellows are more pronounced and everything looks darker. I still can't quite connect what I see with what my hand does with the paints, but it's a passable attempt for my level. After a while, I start losing my focus and move the paper aside, deciding to watch Rin work for a while instead. That little while stretches first into a long while, then into a really long while. I was gonna say, it's like, Katawa Shoujo's been really skipping lately. Rin paints, her entire being fully concentrated on the brush between her slender toes, and the painting coming to life one stroke at a time. She seems determined, yet at the same time relaxed, effortlessly moving the brush around, never hesitating. Colors meet and part, mix and cover each other on the canvas, bending to her quiet will. I don't know anything about composition, structure, any of that stuff, but I really like Rin's paintings. I like how she looks when she paints. As usual, the silence between us compels me to speak rather than merely wait for her to open up. She might end up saying nothing at all. Do you mind if we talk?
I don't mind.
I kind of wanted to ask more about why you get so weird about this thing the teacher wants to arrange for you. Rin picks up a tube of paint, squeezes it between her toes on a palette almost as easily as someone with opposable thumbs would. Taking up a brush again, she replies,
A lot of things, and some not things. Unthings. I don't think that's a word.
Do you want to talk about it? I try to reach out to her clumsily, ignoring the embarrassing feeling of awkwardness. Took another drink. Rin keeps her focus on the painting, spreading more and more paint on the canvas. Her lips forming a perfectly straight line as she concentrates on the job. I'm not even pronouncing words right anymore.
Not really. Talking is hard. I mean, it's not hard. I'm talking even now, but saying the right things is really hard for me. No matter what, I just can't say the things I want. That sounds weird. It's true. I say all kinds of things that I don't really mean all the time, and sometimes I forget words and then I use the wrong words. I even come up with new words for things that already have some. That's the worst thing. I get really nervous and everything comes out a mess, and even I don't really understand what I want to say. I think there's something wrong with me that makes it like this. Remember when I said I can only think of 4 things at the same time?
I nod wordlessly.
It's not really 4. I mean, it is 4, but everything else is also there, kind of in the background, like being at an amusement park and a beehive at the same time. But that's not the point. I used to do better, like 6 or 7 things. I think so, at least. I feel like I'm becoming dumber.
I think everyone has times when they feel like they can't say the right things.
But it's there all the time, stronger and deeper. Yeah, deeper is a good word. I like that word, deeper. It's that feeling of being underwater. Maybe it's just art. The more I paint, the more words I forget. Maybe at some point I will forget how to speak completely. It feels like I'm slowly forgetting everything. Do you remember what you thought about things 3 or 4 years ago? I don't.
A long pause ensues, during which time seems to bend around itself, almost trying to tie itself into a knot. I don't think I've ever heard Rin talk this earnestly for so long about anything before.
It's like I'm fading away from the world.
Rin's foot has stopped its work on the canvas, and she is staring at her painting, unmoving, as if gazing at some faraway horizon. Sunlight briefly glints in the corner of her onyx eyes. Something floats up into the top layer of Rin's being, and she lets out a long breath. Then she blinks and it's gone.
Paintings stay behind. When I look at my old things, I remember what I was thinking back when I made them. They make me feel like I could be with all the past me's when I was a different me. I guess they are proof of my existence.
She uses the exact same words Nomiya used when he spoke to us of the nature of art. I didn't think Rin was paying any attention back then. I wonder if she was listening, or whether she had heard the same passionate speech from Nomiya before. Either way, I feel overwhelmed. Boy, are you complicated. I would have taken up writing a diary. Her eyes quickly flicker to my direction, then back to the painting, but she doesn't pick up the brush anymore.
That's a great idea. Why didn't I ever think of that?
Are you being sarcastic?
What's sarcasm?
I don't call her on the joke if it is one. Right at that moment, Nomiya returns from his meeting. He waves to us a very melodramatic hello, mildly surprised to see me here along with his pet student. Walking with a boisterous gait to his desk, he drops his papers upon him. He picks up a handkerchief and cleans his glasses with incredibly meticulous care before walking over to us. Before he is within earshot of us, Rin says something to me in a quick, quiet voice.
Change is the scariest thing in the world to me.
Huh.
And I seriously don't know if I want to change into a person who could do the thing the teacher wants me to do. I don't know if I could even if I wanted to. Hello again!
Hello?
Hello. What's going on?
He smiles a bit sheepishly, looking at both of us with uninhibited interest. Nothing. We were just talking about that thing with your acquaintance in the gallery, for Rin's works. Sort of.
Oh, any decisions?
I look at Rin, who's trying to arrange the bothered expression on her face into something else. Anyway, I don't think I have much else to say other than that you should go for it. Shit. I need to charge my phone quickly, because it's gonna die. Oh god, this is dark. It isn't like you at all to hesitate like this. Oh. Yeah, it isn't like you at all to... Oh my god! When the hell did she... I just noticed she multiplied. This isn't like you. You told me that people should do things they can't just because they can. And now you're being all wishy-washy yourself about something this important.
I don't think I want to talk about this. I'm going.
Ren stands up and trots out of the room without anyone saying anything more. I'm sorry. I think I made her upset. I better not have chosen the wrong thing, otherwise I'm gonna be pissed. I mean, it says even in the photo that it's like the right choice.
Don't worry about it. She'll be fine, I'm sure. I'll talk to her later.
Nomiya looks over at me and over his circular pink glasses, smiling sympathetically.
You made friends with her then, Nakai.
Well, something like that, I guess. Depends on how you look at it. To be honest, I'm not really sure. It's more like me and Rin just tend to hang around each other irregularly, talking or not about something that more often resembles some twisted mockery philosophy rather than normal everyday things that friends chat about.
Well, that's all good, isn't it? You're a new student. We should be promoting integration to the student body and such. I can't remember all the buzzwords they spew at faculty and Yamaku Foundation meetings, but that's how it is. Tezuka isn't the most social person around these parts either.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So she's talked about my suggestion to you.
I just bit my tongue. Oh, no, not really. I think it's been more me pressing her to decide something. Maybe I shouldn't have.
No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm too soft with her, even when I shouldn't. I don't really know how to handle Tezuka. She's so independent and willful.
His tongue is out again.
I wonder if this is what every old geezer of an art teacher who got his hands on a young and fiery prodigy felt like.
He chuckles ironically to himself a little bit, turning to face Rin's latest work, which she left drying on the easel. She departed so abruptly that I wonder if she considers it finally finished.
So let's see the painting then.
He leans in closer, peering at the canvas.
It draws you in, doesn't it?
Nomiya stands back straight, his face a dreamy, nostalgic facade. I don't answer him, as he seems to be taking my agreement as a given.
I sometimes stay here after hours just to look at Tezuka's painting. She's really just prodigious, and at such a young age. I get shivers just thinking of what she could become with a few more years of refinement. You asked what makes an artist, remember? This is it. They take a piece of the world and reshape it in their own image. Metaphorically, of course. Look at her makes you wonder what the world looks like through her eyes. It's a wonderful thing to be young and full of passion, the most extraordinary time of your life. You would do well to remember that, Nakai.
Yes, sir.
It's so silly. People always ask artists, where do you get your ideas, as if ideas were something sold at the market for pocket change. You can't explain inspiration. For people like Tezuka, it's like breathing. It's an instinct. I've met maybe one or two with the same kind of raw potential, but no amount of potential will amount to anything if one doesn't work to realize it. It's practice, technique, skill. Draw for an hour every day for a few years, and even the most hopeless case becomes a passable artist. Tezuka is not brilliant because she was born with a natural talent for this kind of thing. She's brilliant because she works harder than anyone, ever since she learned how to hold a pen, most likely. And all of it with her feet, no less. Absolutely phenomenal.
Silence finally lands in the clubroom as Nomiya lets himself get drawn back into Rin's painting, gently murmuring acceptance toward the still wet canvas. What kind of things do you paint yourself? As if waking from a reverie, he looks at me, surprised at my talking to him.
Oh, I don't. Not anymore. I became an art teacher only after my career in that field came to an end. Now I just pass on knowledge to the next generation.
The way Nomiya answers is curious, both giving and withholding information. I feel like asking more, but he cuts in before I get the chance.
Now you should run along, my boy. It's almost dinner time, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Have a good evening.
You too.
I quickly collect my stuff and step out into the deserted hallway, leaving the teacher alone with his musings. The weekend will be here soon. It's amazing how fast time flies here. I promised Emmy I'd join her for the celebration of her triumph at the track meet last week. That should be plenty of fun. Katawa Shoujo, Katawa Shoujo, Katawa Shoujo. God! Let me see, 3:49. Oh yeah, I need to definitely stop. Because this is killing my throat. Man, I still can't believe we're not even at Act 2 yet. I mean, 3, sorry. Well, I guess considering it took us 11 parts just to get to Act 2, it probably will take a lot longer to get to Act 3. Anyway, that was Katawa Shoujo Part 14. Hope you enjoyed it. Pokemon Randomized Platinum Part 9 will be up tomorrow. But God, I'm sick as fuck. And I know I should be going, like, I should just rest up, but it's like, again, I'm gonna make videos every day unless something is completely throwing me off. Like, it's hard to explain, like basically, it's like, if I can talk and if I can see what's going on in the screen, then I'm doing a video. It doesn't matter. Anyway, thank you for watching Katawa Shoujo Part 14, and I hope to see you guys again for Pokemon Randomized Platinum Part 9 tomorrow. So, see ya!